Okay, we're just introducing ourselves.
Yeah.
I think we kind of all know each other. I'm Logan. I play volleyball. I'm a senior.
I'm Asia. I play volleyball. I'm a 5th-year senior.
I'm Jordan. I play football. Same thing.
I'm Janae, 5th-year senior, softball.
Aaliyah, basketball freshman.
Yeah, everybody old. Y'all picked the old people. All right.
I mean, I'm sure you guys have hobbies or stuff you do, but you guys can tell each other about yourselves more than that.
Oh yeah. I watch a lot of shows. I just started, what show I just started? I do watch that though.
Euphoria?
And How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah.
Keep watching it. It gets good, I promise.
Yeah. I travel a lot. I don't post when I travel, so you wouldn't know.
Let's introduce ourselves.
Oh,
Not to the camera.
hey guys. I'm on the track team. I'm a junior. Huh? Yeah, you guys don't know.
We're just like,
y'all talking to each other.
Oh, okay.
We're not here.
Yeah, we're literally not here. You're talking to each other.
I know everybody except these two.
Aaliyah, I'm on the basketball team. I'm a freshman.
Awesome.
I'm Janae, I play softball. So.
hey guys. Okay, yeah. Well, where are y'all from?
Moore, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Cuero, Texas.
Okay.
From Houston.
Nashville.
H-Town.
Whoa.
Sorry.
From Nashville,
I'm from Nashville.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Wow.
Sorry about
What's wrong with
that.
Tennessee?
It's Tennessee,
It's a little country. Where are you from again?
but it's Texas though.
But it's like the same vibe, like country,
It's,
like.
yeah, it's
vibe.
country, but it's not Tennessee.
Okay. Whatever you say. I'm from Nashville though. It's kind of like the city.
That ain't really country though.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the city. It's like Austin.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Kind of.
That actually it probably is.
That's why I said that.
Never been.
I said Dallas. She got me with Houston before I
Had
went
to,
to Dallas.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Dallas.
So, what does Black History Month mean to y'all?
So encompassing like Black history, right? Why is the conversation that you're currently having important? Like, there's a reason we sat you guys down and asked you to talk about this, right? So like, thinking about Black History Month, which is when this is going to go out, like, why is having this conversation important? I want to hear why it's important to you guys. I want to hear why it's important past Black History Month, right? And why is it only just a month?
Well,
Man, why is it?
I mean, it's important to me just because, like you said, it goes past this month. I mean, Black lives matter every day. All lives matter. So it's just, we got to keep advocating for ourselves and for other African Americans.
I would say too, like, this conversation is so important to hear because, like, when I was younger, I would have needed this. Like, I would have needed, like, have people that I look up to in a place that I wanted to be, like, just hearing them speak on real experiences and, like, what they're going through and, like, seeing that as, like, a young kid would just have been such an inspiration and also just, like, let me know, like, I'm on the right path, but then also, like, open my eyes to, like, oh, like, sports aren't everything. Like, people like in sports care about things other than sports, like I think it's a really important conversation for young kids to hear, looking up to people like us, like in this position. So I think that's why having this conversation is so important, for sure.
I think for me, I'm Nigerian American, right? So I'm like supposed to fully fit into being Nigerian and fully fit into being American. So for me, it's just the importance of this is really to dive deep into a conversation about what it means to be American for me, with my skin tone, with my complexion, but then on the day-to-day, being a representation for the differences in the Black community, because the Black community is so vast and so different, but we are all collectively what makes up this demographic. And so I think just appreciating everybody's differences, finding value in everybody's differences, and just being yourself and being able to really stand firm in who you are, and spreading just positivity and just like good vibes to everybody. So.
Yeah, I really admire like non-athletes that are African American just because I know how hard it was to get into this university. And I think if I wasn't playing sports, like I probably wouldn't be here, like from
Yeah, facts.
academics, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really admire like their hard work and like the perseverance it took to actually decide to come here, not a HBCU or something like that. So
I just want to know where they're at, cause like I know I'm trying. It's been hard though. Like all my friends are on the basketball team or play a different sport. Like I walk around on campus and I'm like, ain't nobody. Yeah, it's tough, but I'm hoping like next year and stuff, I'll meet more. Yeah.
you get one black person in class, you're like,
Yeah, literally. Hey.
yeah. That's how I was freshman year too. Like I was just trying to find other people that I could be friends with that were look like me. You know? So I only had my one other teammate.
Like you automatically my friend.
Yeah.
No, like for real. It's just like the black connection. Like
Right.
it's just something, yeah.
You can relate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
A lot of my friends at UT are non-athletes. I think for me, coming from a predominantly white high school, but also that was already a culture shock for me because I wasn't from there. I was from like minority area. So coming here, I was like put a real big emphasis in making sure that I knew other people. They give you a different perspective, right? You start to appreciate more of like what you're doing, as well as seeing how hard it still is to be at this institution without athletics. Like these are still very, very smart people who are doing it the same way you are, and are so valuable, and they bring so much to the university. I think for me personally, it just gives you a breath of fresh air. Like you can leave the bubble of athletics and still have a group of people that love you, that care for you, that can support you. But then also be able to come back and represent the university too. And then they also kind of gain a different respect for what we do and how much work it takes. And then just because they're not athletes does not mean they're any less or anything. And you actually begin to appreciate the resources that you get through athletics and like all that we are able to like get from being athletes.
It's hard to understand when you don't go through it. You know, like I said, the people in Austin that aren't at UT, that weren't born in the money, like they don't get to, there's a lot of things that we don't see them, like what they go through. You know, I don't know everybody's personal life, but like me personally, I was just like that. So I don't know if I would have been in college if I didn't have football, if I wasn't athletic. I was just the one out of my friends that was athletic, you know? So just seeing that, like I can relate, and I just try to be inspiring to them. But when it comes to the racist stuff that we had going on, like it's like, man, y'all have to understand that there's people out here that this is really happening to them. You know, like the George Floyd situation, it happens every day, it just doesn't get caught on camera. So yeah, it's, like I said, eye-opening, and hopefully it opens the eyes of the people that don't understand to just be open to getting what we're saying, you know?
Yeah, I wonder like other sports. I don't know, outside looking in, it just looks so unified, and I was just wondering, did y'all have issues or anything?
Our team is pretty open to all of our conversations, and maybe even if deep down they weren't open, no one spoke up and said anything negative.
Like,
yeah.
No one was disrespectful.
And having a team where like we could get on Zoom and be like, hey, this is how we feel, just rant for like an hour, and everyone just sits there and listens and is like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't really understand the capacity of the issue. Was really nice, I think.
I agree. I think we got lucky just having such a diverse team and having coaches, like you said, that were just like willing to have those conversations.
Like, we had the whole Zoom thing too, and like people were crying, of course. Like, cause I do feel like when some white people learn about it, like you do kind of feel bad, like that this happened in America. So I don't know. I could like see their empathy.
Yeah, and I think what's most important is like how you're living on the day to day. You know, like you can have these talks and you can be crying on the Zoom, but if I see you tomorrow and then you acting a whole lot different, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to really kind of show me or demonstrate that you wanted to learn or that you're trying to break this ignorance that you have on these certain topics. I think it goes back down to how you're raised and how you're brought up, the things that your family values, right? If you start to get it, how can you start, even though they're uncomfortable conversations, how can you start talking to your family members if you know that your family kind of has a history of X, Y, and Z? And so I think it's just really important to educate, but at the same time understand that it's going to take some time, but then also appreciate how far we have gotten, but realizing that there's still work to do.
I would say for me, just when I do go home and I see, or when I'm in East Austin, just seeing the little black kids and seeing their eyes light up when they see me because they want to, you know, a lot of young boys want to be football players. Dreams always go to NFL. So just seeing them when they look at me, it's just like, this is not my purpose, but this is one of my whys. Like, you know, it's always got to be bigger than me. And for me, my why is never going to be me personally. It's always going to be something bigger than me, something outside of me, because I don't think there's anything more motivating than motivating someone. So that's the biggest thing for me. When I go home and I see them and they're like, man, I wanna do this, my girl. I wanna do this. I'm like, man, this is crazy, you know? Like, it's really crazy. And just to know that a lot of those kids aren't gonna get the football route, you know, and they're gonna be stuck there is just a big eye opener for me. And it's like, man, you got to use the resources you have for real. So I'm like, we're all blessed to be here and have these resources.
I think for me it's learning how to use my voice and learning how to use my platform. I've tried to be consistent with my Motivate series on Instagram. Check it out if you want to. But self-pub, you know. But I definitely think that, like, it has to be bigger than you, just like Jordan said. There has to be a why. There has to be a reason why you're going out there. Education is important, right? Not everyone is going to make it big. Not everyone is going to become a pro athlete. So how can we push young kids and the youth to find other avenues, other things that they love, other things that they, you know, are happy about, bring them joy, right? So for me, like, okay, is it school? Is it singing? Is it dancing? Whatever it is it art? Is it creating a video game? What is it? How can you take what you already love and turn it into something that can make you money or a passion for you? It can be sports, but it can't only be sports that brings you that joy, because there are so many things that these young kids are so good at, like so amazing at. How are we feeding into these kids so that those things can sprout and grow?
Yeah, I think it's important, like, as Black people, just to show not kids, like, just how to be successful at sports, but like successful in anything they do. Like, I think you've done such a great job of like voicing that on campus and like helping start initiatives and things that, like, people look up to you. Like, you're great. You do good. You do great. But no, like, I think it's so serious is like, how can we use our resources as athletes, use our voice to give back to our community and like make sure these little kids that look up to us see that we're not just athletes too, and like can look up to us in other aspects of our lives rather than just being like really great at volleyball, really great at track, softball, football, basketball, whatever it is. Just showing them that it's not just about sports, and like, yeah, there's so many other things out there and so many other avenues that they can be successful in and that they should like go for. So it's cool to be a part of. But
and just like showing other athletes that are here that we're not all just basketball, football, volleyball. Like, majority of us are not going pro, and like that's just that. Like, so especially with men's sports, I think like football, basketball, like it's always like, oh my God, I want to go to the NFL, the NBA, and if I don't, then I failed. Like, it's such a slim percentage of people that are gonna do that and be successful and be set for life. So like, when you were saying, like, they just put them in like random classes sometimes. Like, you need to have initiative, make sure, okay, this is my degree, I'm gonna get this. Even if I do go to the league, I'm at least put myself in the best position that when I'm in the league, I can go back to school, or after I can go back to school, and there be something after sports, because like, we can't play till we're 60. Like, eventually, we're gonna have to go. So
retweet. Like, WNBA, chances are so slim. And it's like, for me, like, I am more than an athlete. Like, I'm smart. Academics, like, I mean, I don't know, it's just, yeah. Retweet everything you just said.
no, seriously. Especially for female sports, you know, it's even harder for us to go pro, and that's like, it's real. And so, yeah, just seconding that message is very, yes, big time.
Know your worth, know your purpose.
And getting rid of the thought that making it out, like, I gotta make it out. If I don't make it, and their idea of making it out is, but dude, you gonna be a rapper, or you gonna play? Yeah. So if that doesn't happen, it's like people just give up on life. So just getting rid of that stigma that those aren't the two routes you can take. Those are the easy routes. You know, actually, these are the God, like you. These are God-given abilities, and you just using them. But being able to use this and making something out of it—that's the real ultimate goal.
Right, because I feel like the one thing nobody can take from you is your education, your intelligence. Ain't nobody can touch that. You can, God forbid, get injured. That's done. You know what I'm saying? no one could take that away. So putting in whatever you need to put into community, putting in resources to really, really make sure that we don't lose what we have inside, what we're learning, everything like that. That's crucial.
That's why I like seeing athletes doing other things other than like volunteering at a basketball camp or like a volleyball. Like go serve in your community, go read to kids or something. I don't know. Just do something else. Doesn't involve your sport.
Give back outside of sports.
Yeah.
Like that's like again like we're more than that. We have other interests. Like we can bring more to the table than just like throwing some balls at a kid. Like yeah, good job. Like we're more than that for sure.
Yeah, so I was raised like growing up in softball, of course. Like my parents always told me I had to be the best one out there, just simply because I was Black player. Like I had to stand out if I didn't stand out already. But just having to work harder than everybody to the right or left of me, just always being the best out there, no matter what, because I wouldn't get second chances. So my parents always told me just be the hardest worker out there.
I know one thing for me, I was raised around strong Black women. Like I don't know my father. I got my mom, my aunt, my grandma. So just being raised around them, I've just learned so much from them, and it's just been amazing just learning. So I think having that strong, Black figure, woman in my life, really shaped me into who I am today.
Yeah, I was raised by just my mom as well. But my dad lived in the same town as me, so I got to see him too. But just seeing how strong a woman can be, and that's why I applaud all y'all. But just seeing what a woman goes through, especially being a single mom, is just crazy. The things they sacrifice, and just me personally, just not having money growing up. So seeing my mom sleep on the couch so I could have a room, and doing that for like 11 years straight is just crazy. Seeing what a mom would sacrifice for her child.
I want to be a sports broadcaster, after college, and there's not many Black women that you see on TV, on ESPN, and so seeing that, I'm like, I'll be the next one. Hey.
Yeah, I think for me, like I looked at the Texas volleyball team in the past, like our coaches always recruited and had like a really diverse team, and so like looking in a predominantly white sport, like volleyball is like pretty white. Looking to the Texas volleyball team and seeing like, oh, Black girls can do that too, like, and they're good, and they're like best in the country type. Like, I can too. Like, I can be that person one day, and I can do that too. So I think just kind of looking at just like female athletes that look like me, and like seeing how successful they've been. You look at Serena Williams too, like both Venus and Serena. Candace Parker, I know I watched her growing up because I'm from Tennessee and basketball, loved her. But like just players like that, like people who are so confident in themselves and so great at what they do, and like as a young Black athlete, just like kind of doing my thing and seeing them be so successful and be so confident in themselves, like really kind of was my why, and was like, since they can do it, like I know I can. And just now it's like I want to be that person for the next generation, and they can look up to us and like see that we can do it, and like so can they.
And just seeing Texas volleyball growing up, like they were always unapologetically Blacks. Yeah. And we talk about this all the time, like our team is seen as like aggressive and rude, which why do we think it's that? But just seeing people, like volleyball is such just like a prim and proper sport, and just like growing up and being like seeing like Cat Bell on TV, like staring somebody down and talking mess at the net. I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to do that. Like yeah, like I just think that was cool to see as like 12, 11-year-old girl and be like, oh my gosh, they're really good. They're Black women, and they don't have to fit like the standard of volleyball, white volleyball players.
Yeah, like I don't know if y'all know who Maya Moore is, basketball player. She just stopped playing and got a man out of jail. Like she didn't care what nobody said. And so just looking at that, that's really inspirational to me, because I'm big on the social justice system and all that stuff. And so just knowing that she was like, I don't care what anybody else says, I'm done playing and I'm gonna do something else. Like that's big.
Yeah, seeing someone get back to their community like that is like, yeah, and like kind of giving up what they are known for to like really do what's right. Yeah, that's big. That was big. I remember that.
For me, Michelle Carter, she was also a Texas alum, and like won the Olympics for shot put. So not really seeing the strength of a woman being something that's like appreciated as much as it should be, and then physically being able to like see that in a sport, and then see her go all the way to the highest level, and just really trying to be like her because she's awesome. So like that's someone I can actually like look up to in my sport, because there's not very many of us in shot put and stuff. So that's fine.
I would say for me, just being grateful and looking back at everyone that went through so much that literally died, you know, for what we have now and seeing where this country has come because of that, but also recognize we got so much further to go. But just seeing the progress and being grateful of those people that sacrificed their lives for us to be, you know, more free than they were. It's crazy, you know, just watching movies, hearing stories. The world is crazy, but we're moving in the right direction. But like I said, there's a lot more to go.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, slowly but surely, man.
I guess it's nice to also know that we're being a part of the change and we're
Mhm.
being part of like the upward movement. I think that's inspiring.
And even like being thankful of pioneers that were at UT, like Heyman Sweat, people like that,
Mm-hmm.
like made a difference here in trying to change UT in itself in the history. So.
Yeah, like they're the reason we're here,
Yeah.
like sitting here
Just
right now. Like
appreciating people
it's
like
crazy,
that.
and it wasn't that long ago.
Exactly.
Too. This is also like crazy to think. Yeah, but yeah, it's weird to think. You know, we're just now learning this history. Like we didn't always know it, but just that there was a time when sports were separated and like we couldn't even
Yeah.
be a part of athletics here, and like that's just like crazy to think about. And again, it wasn't that long ago, and it's just like. That's great, but like there's still so much more. There's still things happening that, you know, aren't okay, but it's weird to see that. But I'm glad we're part of the change. I'm glad we're like making positive steps forward and we're a part of that conversation.
I mean, I think unless you guys have anything else you specifically need to say or want to talk about, I think the conversation has been really great. So.
And it was nice meeting all you guys. And I feel like this helps me now, you know, like I said, freshman. knowing y'all, it helps. Yeah. Yeah.
For real. We'll set you up with some black orgs on campus too. She has a list. She knows everybody, like literally. I appreciate y'all like being vulnerable, I guess, and like really like making this like a safe space and just being open to having this conversation.
I think one thing we didn't get to speak on was like the influence of black people on like the world now, like music and art and fashion, and all that stuff. It's,
Oh wow,
yeah.
that's a big one.
Mhm.
Crazy.
I mean, if you have something to say, I'm not going to stop you.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just trying to spark something because I know that's something that needs to be on there.
I mean,
just
yeah.
can't stand cultural appropriation.
They want to be black but not be black at the same time. It's,
Right.
They want to look black but not have the black experience.
Exactly.
Yes.
They don't want the experience because they.
180. Growing up, you went to all white schools, I went to all white schools. Being black was not cool.
Not
I was like, oh
cool.
my gosh, I stand
my
out from all these
goodness.
people. And then now I'm like, my brother's in high school. He goes to predominantly white high school. And I see the girls and I'm like, definitely influenced by black culture. And it's like, that wasn't cool 10 years ago when I was here. So like, why is it cool now?
Or going to predominantly white school, like high school, like I did, all three of us did, or whatever, and like not being cute.
That's
When you
what
come
I'm
here, I'm like,
saying.
and I know I'm not ugly. Like I know we not ugly people.
No,
so it's
because-
just like you can't mess with me.
Because that was actually like one of the most
Yeah.
eye-opening things is like
was
just being in high school or middle school, whatever, and just like I was like the I don't know, I was the friend that helped set people up. Like I was cool with that. I was like, it's fine, that's how it is. But then coming to college and being like, oh, that was such like a vacuum, like such like a little bubble, and it's like crazy to see the world and like how I don't know.
But the tea is, you leave college and then they want to be like, you were always so
Always
pretty.
so
I was
pretty.
really
I'm
into
like,
that. Oh, really?
Why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a good point.
Right. Right.
Yes, we all live the same life.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you want to say hi to me when you see me on campus.
Or you want to DM me,
Or you-
slap on my
Yeah.
videos in my comments.
But
Yeah,
you didn't
that's it.
talk
That's
to me in high
interesting.
school.
Who are you again? Who are you?
Yeah.
I think that's
Black women, it's different.
Yeah, it's
Black
different.
women, we have it a little different.
We have it very
Yeah,
different.
Yeah.
I ain't really understand what y'all was talking about.
Yeah.
I did, but I couldn't.
never
I couldn't be in the shoes. Couldn't be in the shoes, bro.
Anything else?
Nope. Maybe we should stand up, act like we leave.